Boom. Let's go. All right, guys. Welcome to the Friday Mastermind. For over 5 years, we've been doing this mastermind. Today is a very special one. First of all, it's always special when you have the one and only Todd Duncan. But Todd is going to share 25 scripts. I'm titling this Scripts, 25 Scripts with Todd Duncan. Last week was part one of this conversation where Todd is really giving us a couple strategies that he believes are the most important strategies in order to add an extra $10,000 to $30,000 a month in income. So there's a lot of focus around this. Like, these aren't just like, hey, here's 25 great strategies. Like, the goal is, it is May of 2023. It is a brutal market. There's a lot of things you should not be doing, but there are things you should be doing. And Todd's going to focus on that. So I don't know where our man, Todd Bookspan, is. Looks like Todd's not joining us. He probably told me and I forgot.
Yes, he's in
Deborah
Phoenix,
Bird.
remember?
Oh,
hello.
That's right. He did tell me. What's up,
I'm glad I'm
Bird?
here to help with that.
Yeah.
I'm great. Yeah, I'm excited to dive into this. I listened to the part one, which was earlier this week. I know you said last week, but it was Tuesday this week. And if anyone hasn't watched that yet, make sure you go back. There was 2 strategies with some homework items. And it was my first time to see your business plan calculator, Todd, which, I mean, every branch manager, leader, I would have everyone on your team. You've got to start there and know your numbers. So make sure you watch part one.
Yeah, and a great reminder. Todd gave an assignment, and if you go back and watch that, we will put a link in the notes under this with a link to that. He gives a link to an online calculator, which is worth a fortune. He made it free to the industry, but if you go through that process, it will really provide some clarity on how to make an extra $10,000 to $30,000 next month in this market. So Todd, I don't want to steal too much thunder, and I want to get you talking as quick as you want to talk, but anything you want to frame before you start sharing these 25 scripts?
No, it's just like the hardest thing for me was we have a total script bank of 305 scripts for almost every selling situation you can have. And the hardest thing for me was deciding, which of the 13 that I had promised on Tuesday we were going to share. And of course, being an overachiever, that has morphed. And so we may run out of time today, but you will not run out of all the intel, because you'll get a copy of the deck with all the scripts regardless. But I think what we did on Tuesday is we set up this one skill. We called it follow-up. And I was thinking about that afterwards, and follow-up is very boring. Everybody talks about follow-up. And I think that I'd like to cross out follow-up and replace it with trust and connection, because if you have trust and connection, then the follow-up is easy. If you don't have trust and connection, there's really no reason to follow up. And I think a lot of LOs have fear around the art of following up. And it could be their own internal perception of not having enough value. It could be that they had a run of no's in following up and lost deals. And, it could be a host of all those things. But the bottom line is, these scripts and dialogues are ours, right? And they are culled from the industry. They're culled from our elite group, which is 33 people that make $1 million a year or more. It comes right out of our coaching faculty and their interaction with our coaching members. And so these work in the marketplace. Some are new, some are old, but still are the most vital script you can have in today's market. So as we get into this, just use that 1 to 10 on a scale of 1 to 10 in this particular discipline. How good am I? And again, I'm going to give you the words that we have. And if you want to modify things a little bit and make it more comfortable for you, feel free to do that. This is both art and science. And then we'll focus all the scripts today on the 2 strategies I talked to you about, where we know that 95% of the loan officers don't do the 2 things we talked about on Tuesday. And so we're going to give you the scripts today to have the traction to go do those 2 things we talked about on Tuesday. Does that sound fair? Yes, it does.
That sounds awesome. Let's go.
All right. So as Dave said, we were going to hit this with 13 scripts, and we modified that, and we said, okay, by the time I got it all done, there was 25 scripts. So the 10 to 30,000 could easily be 10 to 50,000. It's up to you to decide what you want to do. But again, I want to jump into this. When I was in the loan business, Zig Ziglar was one of my mentors, and I remember him saying, in an audio cassette that I was listening to. He said, if you don't know what to say in a selling situation, you will lose. If you don't know what to say in a selling situation, you will lose. So as a guy that was only 3 years in the business, I started memorizing scripts. I had to create the scripts, and then I had to memorize the scripts. And then I had to record them on an audio cassette player. And then I had to listen to them in my car as I was driving around, serving realtors and working with buyers. And I just kept memorizing and memorizing and memorizing scripts. And they became the most distinctive disruptor that I think I had as a fairly new originator. I could say things that guys and gals that had 10, 15, 20 years hadn't even thought about yet. And I believe that sales confidence is part of knowing what you're going to say. Okay. So there should be time reserved every week for you to practice scripts and dialogues. We talk in the academy that in the morning, every morning, role play, high impact, high dollar scripts. Do it in the mirror when you're getting ready, do it in the car on your way to the office or your first appointment. Role play, role play, role play, role play, role play, because that is the law of the dress rehearsal in high trust, which simply states practicing your lines elevates your level of performance. So we're going to break this into two parts. We're going to talk about our agent partners first, and then we're going to talk about buyers second. Okay. So the first one is you guys have to get back to setting appointments. You absolutely have to get back to setting appointments. So here's an existing partner. Okay. But in this particular partnership, you haven't gone deep enough and you haven't been in touch in a way that could really be masterful. So you pick up the phone and you simply say, I've been connected to a sales productivity concept, and a focal point is how to add real value to my referral partners. It dawns on me that I have so much more to offer you than I have to this point, even though we are successful together. What I'd love to do is come by for a catch up, ask you some strategic questions, share some business building ideas with you, and take our relationship to the next level. When would be a good time to meet? So here's your homework. I give you a 21-day challenge. The next 21 days, call every partner that you know, love, and trust that you'd like to expand the business partnership on, and call them. Use this script. The 3 segments in white are neuro-linguistic programming scripts. Strategic questions implies strategy. Business building ideas implies growth. Take our relationship to the next level implies loyalty. So that's script number 1. Script number 2 is I'm going to go after new partners. So if I have a title rep or another realtor or somebody that has referred me to a new partner, I want to use one script one time that takes about 90 seconds to set the appointment. So when I get somebody on the phone, I'm just going to say, hey, Betty, the purpose of the call is to introduce you to our new consumer referral program. It's offered on an exclusive basis to agents to whom we've been referred. John thought you'd be interested in this program where we refer buyers and sellers to you each month for you to service their real estate needs. Last month, I was able to refer 3 buyers to John. What I'd like to do is come by for 30 to 45 minutes at a time convenient with your schedule. I'd like to spend that time evaluating what you look for in working with the lender, share with you some things we offer agents, and introduce you to the consumer referral program. Now, you guys might be freaking out right now because you don't, quote, have a consumer referral program. If you've ever done a loan for a buyer, and that buyer has been referred to you by an agent, you have a consumer referral program, and I will unpack that for you as we go. In the next 21 days, your goal is to reconnect with and or establish 10 to 20 new partnerships. And then you're going to see how that bodes out as we go forward with the balance of these scripts. So those 2 are prospecting and biz dev appointments to take relationships deeper. Now, when we get to number 3 is the high trust interview trifecta. There are 4 slides I'm going to show you right now, but they're all under this one thing. If you're going to meet with me and you're a brand new agent, or if you're going to meet with me and you are somebody I'm reconnecting with, I want to relearn what's important about being successful to you. This could be a 3 to 5 minute conversation. 99% of loan officers don't ask this question. This is the question that gives you the emotional buying DNA that a client partner has. So it says below, the core values conversation allows you to get to know the core reason they want to succeed in real estate. Knowing this allows for emotional influence throughout the relationship. The reason why most loan officers have call reluctance and some level of fear at varying different degrees is they really don't know what the number one thing is to whomever it is they're working with that drives emotional connection. And I want to make it very clear that as you embrace the idea of emotional connection, you are simultaneously embracing the idea of improving your conversion rate. This is a good place right now to remind you on the business planning tool that you have access to. It is the Loan Officer Wealth Calculator. Let me tell you right now, based on an average loan amount of $400,000, for every 1% you improve your conversion rate, it will create $2,000 in income. So for every 1%, $2,000 in income. So if you increase it by 2%, it's $4,000. 4%, it's $8,000. 8% is 16 grand. That's how we get to the $10,000 to $30,000 a month number. The second part when you're there is to really do, again, what 94% of loan officers report they don't know, which is what are the needs my client has. And so when you look at this script, what are the needs on which you place the highest value during the loan process? Okay, we call them highest value needs. You've been to the academy, you know this terminology. And it says below, you cannot exceed customer expectations if you don't know what those expectations are. This question allows you to deepen yours and your team's awareness of how to really deliver a 5-star experience and exceed the customer's expectations. If I don't know what their expectations are, I most certainly cannot exceed them. This one will take maybe 10 to 15 minutes with a new prospect that you're trying to really go deep on. For a current prospect or current partner that you're trying to deepen the relationship with, you can probably do this in 5 to 6 minutes because it's really, what else can we do to create a better consumer experience together? That's a great question, right? You already kind of know their vibe about what happens in terms of loans and process, and we kind of know what we should do and how to do it. But if we deepen that conversation right now, we're going to get a couple of ideas from them that would really allow us to level the service up and continue to generate referrals. Reminder here, 5-star experience is a needed catalyst for the consumer referral program to work, okay? The third part, which is, again, what most loan officers don't ever do, is what are the parts of your business in which you are of greatest need for solutions in today's market? This year, what are the most important things you need this year? Between now and the end of next year, what are the things I need to do with you to help you build your business? Real differentiation, as it says on your slide, comes from when you really know what your clients need in their business and life. And this dialogue equips you to always be solving, always be solving, always be solving, always be solving, which is the ultimate loyalty move. Too many loan officers are not solving, they're simply promoting. Promoting creates tension. Solving creates trust, stickiness, and super glue type loyalty. And then the last thought process is, why are we doing this? It's because we want to create such a bond that now we do what most don't ever consider doing, which is developing business with my partners every single week. So I want to stop right here and see if Dave and Deborah have any comments at this point about what we just talked about.
Well, first of all, go ahead, Deborah, you go first.
I was going to say that last slide is critical. I think sometimes we get so caught up in the making the call, setting the appointments. You finally get one that shows up. And it's ironic, it reminds me of a conversation I had with my son just this past weekend where he's really gotten his shot down in basketball, but he doesn't box out. I'm like, how many easy layups or easy rebounds are you missing that are easy opportunities because you're not boxing out? So this is in the same thought process. It's you got to box out and get those easy ones that you don't always make 100% of your shots. But what's your strategy and your plan for after the shot? Yeah.
Dave?
Yeah, I just want to emphasize how important this is for all the managers and leaders on here. I mean, it's no coincidence that every year the most watched video in the Mortgage Coach platform, and again, I interview the best of the best all the time, is Cryptopalooza. I mean, we've already got thousands of people signed up for it. Like, it's no surprise. And I think when people hear these, everybody's going to love them, but are you going to take action on it? And so for all the branch managers, like, I would really emphasize that Todd Duncan's like your partner. First of all, if you're a branch manager and you're responsible for the success of other folks, if you don't take him up and click on that link that he gave you in the last one and go through that for yourself, and then if you don't use this meeting as an opportunity to create content for your next branch managers meeting, and like, you got Todd Duncan here coaching you on some of the best scripts in the planet. And so I just really want to push everyone who is in leadership. Implementation is where it's at. Also want to remind you guys, this is a mastermind. Ask questions. And if you like what you're hearing from Todd, do let him know, like, give him a heart, give him a clap. We want to know what you like best of what Todd shares here. So Todd, don't want to run out of time. I know you got a lot of scripts to get to, bro.
All right. And Paul just posted both the wealth calculator in chat and also the link to the High Trust Sales Academy, which we'll be doing in December this year. Brand new content for a brand new world based on the 14 laws of high trust selling. So it's going to be epic. I want to also remind everybody that.
And reminder, if you're watching this in YouTube, all of those links are right below here. So that's where the gold is, taking action. So when you're watching this in YouTube, you got the links. Okay, Todd.
Yeah. So guys, if you really want to take what Deborah just said and you really want to use this as the rocket fuel for your business, bottom line is, if you don't know what question to ask that gives you an answer that you can solve, you are not going to be anywhere near as successful as you could be. We are in the solution business. You don't know what people need solutions to unless you ask. And so what we do know is that once you know those things, then we're in a very content-rich society. You can find any answer for any client, anytime, on demand, and look like you're the knowledge hero because you found what they were looking for. And of course, we all know that people that get value are loyal. And we also know that people that don't get value are not loyal. So the loyalty here by asking this question equips you to have something that your loan officer competition bank simply doesn't have. One of those things is onboarding real estate agents and having weekly conversations for biz dev. It says on this particular bonus slide, when a partner agrees to do business with you, schedule 3 months of weekly follow-up before you leave the appointment. Send them the invite, have them accept it while you're together. If you're live in your presence, if you're on Zoom, while you're on Zoom, you have now just scheduled a time block for 12 weeks for agent follow-up. And you can replace agent in this with financial planner, insurance, whoever you want. It's up to you to do that. But if you're not developing business opportunities weekly, you're not developing business. It's that important for you to understand what I just said. And so if you want to pump the brakes on going too wide and too shallow and floor it and throttle it to be very, very deep, if you had 10 to 20 people you were calling every week and you were doing this and you were simply asking, and this is an agent example, these two scripts, you were simply asking these two questions. Who have you met in the last 7 days who you'd like to sell real estate to or for, and you're not sure they're going to use you? This was developed in 1993 when Jim McMahon and I sat down and he said, I haven't talked to Mary Harker in over a month. And I said to Jim McMahon, I said, you know what you need to do? You need to call Mary Harker and you need to ask her one question. And he goes, what's the question? And the question was, Mary, who have you met in the last 30 days that you'd like to sell real estate to or for, and you're not sure they're going to use you? Jim coined that the buyer retrieval program. And what he started doing when Mary gave him 137 names is he started calling all 137 as her lending partner to try to reel those into a biz dev opportunity. So this is not a new idea, but what we do know right now is only 11% of loan officers are doing weekly biz dev with their partners. Here's another one for the agent side. Who do you plan on showing property to in the next 7 days who I should speak with to make sure we optimize their purchasing power? I'm going to show you why this question is so important in just a couple more slides. But your goal is to talk to as many people your referral partners are talking to. Okay, that is your goal. And your goal is to do that because the sooner you get into a dialogue with the mutual people you both know, they know them, you're going to know them, you know them, the agent needs to get to know them, whatever that looks like, these two questions will, in the business plan calculator, this will generate referrals per partner velocity. So when you get into the business plan, you have 6 variables. The third variable down on the left is how many referrals per month would you like to generate with your partners per partner? Pick 4, pick 8, pick 2, pick 6, it doesn't matter. What we want to do is we want to get into buyer retrieval. So, hi borrower, this is John Smith with ABC Mortgage Company. We received your name from Debbie at XYZ Real Estate after you visited one of her open houses, virtual or live, doesn't matter, over the weekend. If you have a few moments, so I can ask you some questions to determine if I can help you with your real estate needs. If they say yes, great. Here's 4 questions. At what stage of the home buying or selling process are you? Do you think you want to buy or sell? Have you selected a realtor to help you sell and buy? And right here, I'm going to cross-sell Debbie, who gave me Mr. Smith's name. Have you met with a lender to determine your maximum home buying power? Okay, great. There are several strategies for both situations that can save you time and money. Would it be appropriate to have a collaboration with you now? Okay, so that's how I go to the market. Now, remember, this is part of the consumer referral program. Everything that leads back to your ability to bring business to your partners is under the heading consumer referral program. Okay, now, theoretically and legally, if they've come to a virtual or a live open house, and there's a lot of other lead gen opportunities here, we're not looking for leads, we're looking for referrals. And so somebody who is a referral is somebody who gave a name, gave a number, communicated with the on-site or the virtual host in a way that it's okay for you to call and you're not violating any FCC laws or regulations. So think about this for a second. Think about a real estate agent that might have 100 people who've come through 3 open houses, 4 open houses during the month. We know right now that realtors aren't good at following up. And so if you stand in the gap and you follow up, you're the hero. You're bringing, I don't know, $8, $10, $12, $15,000 back to them. And in the process, you're getting a commission. A lost referrals conversation. If you haven't had this with an agent, have it next week. Sit down and figure out where you can help them improve their at-bats and then improve their business. It's a super easy dialogue. When you have this dialogue nailed and memorized, you can do it in 3 minutes. How many transactions did you close last year? 30. How many people did you have to speak to in order to close that volume? Okay, 300. Do you think any of the other 270 people used another agent? Yes. What percentage of those do you think might have used you, but did not, hint, because you didn't follow up? Okay, and what did they say, 10%? So that would be 27. And then I'm going to ask, how much do you make per transaction? And they're going to say 10,000. That means you're leaving $270,000 on the table every year. Would you like to discuss a strategy on how to earn that and more each year? No. Solve with a consumer referral program. So every single agent and branch managers, you should have this conversation with your loan officers. How many home loans did you fund last year? Okay, 70. How many people did you have to speak with in order to close that volume? Whatever the numbers are, we need to lead our loan officers to have them understand more isn't more. Doing better with what you have is more. And at some point, we don't want to build more on a non-scripted, ready to go basis. We want to make sure that whomever it is we're talking to, our scripts and dialogues are so strong that people say yes. So again, when you think about these ideas here, we're talking in this first half just on adding value to the real estate agent partner, right? And when you do the wealth calculator, I'm going to tell you right now, you will see a minimum of a $10,000 raise if you commit to improving your conversion rate by 12% from conversation to triggered loan, where 85% of them fund. Here's another one, cross-sell the listing agent. 97% of listing agents do not get a call from a lender as per 2022 stats. Now, this is old news, right? But it's not about whether or not it's old news. It's about, do you do this? So here's one that we used, I don't know, 25 years ago. Hey, this is Todd with blah, blah, blah. I wanted to let you know that we've met with the borrowers. Everything looks great. At this point, I usually meet with the listing agent, pick up a copy of the purchase contract, go over the details of your sale at 1234 Maple. When would be a good time to pick that up? Okay, now everything's electronic today. You still want to maybe get back to face. You still want to maybe do something that isn't totally tech oriented, because you're going to get the purchase contract in email. You're going to get it. You can get it 100 different ways, right? But the listing agent becomes the next iteration of how do you improve your average loan amount, increase it? How do you improve your seller penetration? Work with listing agents. How do you get buyers and sellers for financing? Work with listing agents, right? Script 2, this is so-and-so with so-and-so. I want to let you know we've just met with the Johnsons. Everything looks great. I'm just making a courtesy call and would love to know the best way to serve you during this transaction. When the loan is recorded, how would you describe a great experience with me? This is gold right here. Number 2 is gold. They're going to go, you're the first lender that's ever called me and asked me that. And if you don't believe me, just try it on your next 5 purchase transactions. This is the gateway. This is the gateway to everything better, right? And if you work with list side teams, they're going to have buy side agents. So there's all kinds of wins here as we look at that. We're on number 6. Here's number 7.
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to insert there, right there, guys. Listing agents have never needed your help more than ever. It's never been a better time to recruit agents. And as mortgage coaches, your ability to help them get a listing with someone who's got a mortgage at 2, 3, or 4%, like average LOs can't help get that listing. A mortgage coach can help get that listing and show the power of either sell your home and still buy, because look at your net worth in 5 to 10 years. Hey, rent that home, of income, apply it to a mortgage, look at your net worth in 10 years. You guys are well positioned, like no other loan officers in America, to crush this. So just want to put an exclamation mark on that.
Well, and if you really go nuts, I didn't put it in here because it's a little bit forward thinking and sophisticated, but what does the pre-listing cross-sell package look like? So this is something that the seller gets, and they can get it before they even meet with the agent. But it's like, at the very least, how the agent and you as a property and financing specialty team, it's all about how do you help the seller win financially. And Mortgage Coach is the obvious, right? And it's like, why wouldn't we do that? We get to work with the list side and the sell side. All I want you to do, as I said at the start, is on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being best, out of every 10 purchase contracts you get, how many listing agents do you call? And if we can see the number right, in fact, go in the chat right now. I want to do that. I want to see this, Paul. Let's go into chat real quick, and let's just see. Everybody put in, like, for every 10 purchase contracts you get, how many listing agents do you call? Just put one number in there. One number. I got the chat open. I just want to see what your number is. Jim says 10. Jim's a stud. Shill, Tori, 10. You call all 10. That's 100%.
I think that call, though, is more lender recommendation to help the borrower. Is probably those calls. I'm guessing. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. One of the one-liners that you gave, Todd, in one of the academies, when you go to make these calls and you're concerned that an agent says, well, I'm a listing agent. You had said, oh, I'm a listing lender. And that was like such a paradigm shift of like, what? A listing lender that exists? Yeah. Good one.
Again, I said we have 305 scripts, and we're on number 6 right now. And so, it's fun to look at that. Fantastic. I've worked primarily with listing agents, and I do things with listing agents that most loan officers never do with any agent. And that is, I help them build their influence and build their business through, and I can put in the consumer referral program, put in the circle of cash, I can put in anything there. It's a connection call and huge one. Jim, that's awesome, Jim. It's a connection call and huge once the contract is accepted. Amen. I got Michael who was honest and said 2. I got Adrian who said 5. Okay, this should just be standard operating procedure. You should call them all, right? So good on that. Okay, let's go into this one then, because this is the consumer referral program simplified. So to an agent, I would say for every buyer you refer me. So that's how the whole consumer referral program starts. We engage them in a long-term referral relationship. We integrate this program from the first call to the pre-purchase consultation, throughout processing, and then 7, 90, 180, and 365 days post-closing. We also cross-sell their trusted advisors and their circle of colleagues. That results in consistent referrals to you. Last year, I referred an average of 9 additional closings for each of my agent partners. Now, you got to have a number, okay, and you got to be careful here. But right now, the first half of this script, you have no competition. And so everybody kind of thinks, well, the consumer referral program requires me to have a consumer. No, what it actually requires is for you to get a referral of a consumer from an agent, and then you start from there. Now in the academy, Deborah can tell you, we spent a couple of hours on the circle of cash flow and what's that actually look like. But I'm telling you right now that if an agent sees that you're going to become their referral marketing partner through this concept, they're not gonna pump the brakes and say, I want my buyers to talk to 3 lenders. And in fact, if you have this ammunition, you can use that as a response to that objection. And you can simply say, great, if I'm one of the 3, awesome. Do the other 2 bring you? And then you'll have to put your own number in there, 5 to 10 additional transactions a year. And when they say no, then you're the lender of choice. So we've got the word processing of this is super, super, super fun. Let's hit number 8. Increase in referral extraction. So this is a big deal. This is what we work on in Elite. The goal is to talk to every buyer prospect, even if they are pre-approved at or know another lender. Train your agents on this. You can move from 10 agents, each giving you 1 borrower, to 2 agents giving you 5, or even 1 giving you 10. Here's how it works. Okay. The response from a loan originator to a selling agent objecting to referring buyers working with other lenders. So if a buyer's pre-approved or a buyer knows another lender, okay, my response when the agent kind of pushes back, I'm just going to say, hey, listen, have you ever had a pre-approval on a buyer that hasn't worked out? And they're always going to say yes. They're always going to say yes. So when they say that, you can pop down to the next phrase. So let's just consider this a strategy I call commission insurance, so that both you and the listing agent get paid. What does that require? It requires me offering a second opinion, winning the business, and making sure I use the tools like what's available through MortgageCoach and like what's available through us to have that agent realize that's a better deal. If it just ends up being a second opinion, that is a better deal. If I can win the business, which all of you can, that is a huge deal. And so we want to make sure that we utilize the tools and incorporate them and embed them in the scripts. So this is the first one. The second one, response to a buyer from a selling agent when asked to speak to their lender. So the buyer goes, really? So the agent goes, yeah. Second opinions on the largest transaction of your life are a good thing and could potentially save you thousands of dollars. Or, cool, has your lender shown you a total cost analysis on your transaction and offered you multiple strategies to help you achieve your financial goals? How many buyers are going to say no to that? A good population, probably 70 or 80%. And so you look at that and you go, okay, I got to handle the objections. The objections are going to come in on this and I've got to handle them. Response from you to a buyer. So maybe the buyer has an attitude about calling you. I'm just going to cut to the chase. I appreciate the fact that this may feel a little uncomfortable. Quick question. Has your lender shown you a total cost analysis on your transaction and offered you multiple strategies to help you achieve your financial goals and potentially save you thousands of dollars on your mortgage over time? How many buyers are going to say no? Or what's a total cost analysis? And that tees you up to obviously go deep on the advice piece of the business. So when you understand extraction, you understand conversion. So once I have these partnerships, how do I take conversion up? How do I take referrals up? How do I get the conversation going if they're pre-approved somewhere, if they know a lender somewhere? Well, I script my agents. I sit down and I role play this with them until they've got it. And this is an example of something that we have in the academy that we've taught for years, that every single person that we've talked to that has trained their agents to have the proper handoff has said conversion goes sky high. You win the business more when you have the partner, in this case, the agent, pre-selling you. So everything white is neuro-linguistic programming. So the agent say, I appreciate the fact you already have a lender, or you're already pre-approved, or you're just beginning the home hunting process. Most of my clients do, or most of my clients are. He or she will go on to say, as part of my promise to deliver a superior home buying experience. Okay, that is a power statement. I'd ask all my buyers to talk to John Smith. That's a pattern interrupt, the mortgage professional I used at ABC Mortgage. He is the best in the business. That's a power phrase. Talks with all my buyers prior to us going out to look at homes. That's an embedded command. Whether you use him or not, 20 to 30 minutes of quality time with him will help me to help you get the best home for the best price, and in the process, put you in the strongest negotiating position to potentially save thousands of dollars off the price of the home you buy. And perhaps he can even save you tens of thousands of dollars over time with his no-cost mortgage management program. At what number and time can I have him call you? This is gold, guys. This is gold. Let's say an agent's working with 10 buyers, and now they're equipped to say this. And you maybe originally talked with 2. You're probably now going to talk to 4 or 6 or maybe as many as 8. So if you have not done this, yeah, throw a bunch of hearts up if you love this one. I mean, just tell me that this one sounds like, man, I haven't done that. I got to do this. Got it, right? Now, this is a choreographed relationship. So why would an agent go like, I'm going to learn that and I'm going to do it? Well, you know why? Because it makes them look good. Why? Because you're good. You're that good. You're better than any lender they're approved with. You're better than any lender they're thinking about talking to. You're better than that. And so if you really have a choreographed partnership, then the velocity of referrals increases, and therefore then your conversion rate goes up. Remember, all of this is about getting to yes. That's all it's about. More referrals because agents are saying yes. More buyers because the buyers are saying yes to the agent. More loans because the borrower is saying yes to you. And we're about ready to cross over into the borrower piece, but this is the setup. Okay, now I'm going to do this. Okay, I am going to make the agent look as good as the agent just made me look. So I'm going to call Mr. Smith because the time and the day were given to me. I'm calling at Debbie Johnson's request with XYZ Real Estate. Do you have a few seconds? So I'm going to congratulate them on the choice of Debbie as their agent. I've done business with her for the last 7 years. And if you haven't done business with Debbie for the last 7 years, just say, you know, she's been in the business for the last 10 years and she does a brilliant job for all of her clients. Brilliant job for all of her clients. What's that do? That creates an expectation of a brilliant job. All right. One of the reasons Debbie asked me to speak with you, and this gets back to what Dave and I talked about on Tuesday and where we're about to go on this, is to help you make informed choices. So what that does is it expands the product you're going to talk about and financing options, which expands the way they would choose a product and a strategy to buy the home. So this is like neuro-linguistic programming. It's like boom, 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 because most people think there's one loan, one type, one rate. We want to expand their thinking. And then this is the Mac daddy of them all, right? Mr. Smith, a lot of people think I'm in the business of doing loans. I really don't look at it that way. That's a pattern interrupt. As a home loan strategist, that is called a power branding statement. I'm helping you create perhaps the largest debt of your life. That is called a pattern interrupt. And unlike most lenders, I believe I have a responsibility to help you professionally manage that debt. That's a power phrase. And so wherever you are right now, understand the job is to have a buyer say, I want to do business with you. So this final paragraph, this has been choreographed since 1994. I see my primary role is helping my buyers integrate the mortgage loan they select into their overall long and short-term financial and investment goals and their payment, equity, cash flow, and tax objectives. What tool do you have to help with that? Mortgage Coach. What tool do you have to be an advisor that says those kind of words? Mortgage Coach. You know, what kind of tools do you have to make all of this come true? High Trust and Mortgage Coach and everything from Trust Engine. It's brilliant. And the pre-purchase consultation in and of itself is a game changer. So when you think about pre-purchase consultations, you have to go back to the data that I showed you on Tuesday. And the data was that 86% of loan officers self-report that they are horrible in the pre-purchase lead up in terms of follow-up. And the reason why they're horrible is because I don't believe they have the deepest trust hooks in the borrower, and I don't believe they have the deepest connection hooks in the borrower. If you look at any of the Hall of Fame originators, I'm going to tell you right now, they have both of those things going on. And in fact, they realize if I have high trust with the borrower and I don't follow up, I'm actually chipping away at the level of trust I created. So I was talking with one of our elite members yesterday. Year to date, 93% of the buyers that he has had a consultation with do not have a property contract right now. And so it gets back to funnel management. It gets back to funneling. It gets back to strategic marketing, Miss Bird. It gets back to all that kind of stuff. And so when you look at this one and you look at the trifecta here, right? So agents hand them off well. I make the agent look great. I say something that 99% of loan lenders don't say or loan officers don't say. And now I've got them in it to win it.
So
Now,
two things I want to insert real quick. So one,
Yep.
I put a link to the Todd Duncan total cost analysis. Within that Todd Duncan TCA, there's a 5-minute script, and it's several years old, but it's magic. Some great things never change. And the way Todd does this is super powerful. So for one, click on the Todd Duncan TCA. He gives a narrative version of that and a little bit more meat on the bones. Number two, Todd, we're moving into the fourth quarter, and I personally can stay on longer. Are you able, or are we going to have a hard stop?
Let me just see here real quick. I think I have a hard stop at 10:15. Let me just check real quick.
Okay. So to me, this is such pure gold. I do not want you trying to cram everything in the last 15 minutes. If we could go for another 30, I want to get as much Todd Duncan as we can get. Who agrees with me, by the way? Do we want as much Todd Duncan as we can get right now, guys? Give us a little emoji if we want Todd to stay. Look, Todd, look up, man. People want you to stay, bro. This is encore. You got to stay, man.
All
okay,
right,
we got an extra 15 minutes of Todd Duncan.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's keep going.
Okay, let's roll.
All right, so here's version 2 of this, right? And this gets a little bit in depth, and I want you to kind of own your own variation of this. But the job with a buyer right now, the job is always with the buyer to create so much perceived value that they most definitely are eager to meet with you, and have the value be so strong that even in the society in which technology and Zoom and video conferencing are the strategy du jour, we still understand what Stratmore is saying, which there is the greatest opportunity for a high net promoter score is when you are doing face-to-face. So at the very least, every consultation has to be Zoom. At the very, very most, if people geographically can start to meet with you and you can get back to that consultation, it's not old school. It is what the industry is telling us right now is creating the best customer service scores when they have that face-to-face. And our elite members are still doing about 70% of all loans in a physical face-to-face setting. And their average income is about 2.8 million a year. So here's one from one of our guys that last year made $4.5 million. Buying a home and doing a loan is a very important decision, one that has many implications. Most lenders do not approach this process with an eye towards advising the borrower in a way where smart choices are made. The pre-purchase consultation allows me to fully explore your long and short-term financial goals, and your payment and equity objectives. It allows us to get you fully approved for a payment level or a mortgage type or both. It allows me to show you our total cost analysis program that helps you see how we will manage your mortgage each year, making sure the mortgage works for you instead of you working for it. Very, very, very powerful, very powerful. And so get that kind of going, because like if you're going to be in the advice business, which we talked about on Tuesday, then it is absolutely mandatory for you to outline how this whole thing works and how it starts. When we talk about the advice mindset, which we talked about on Tuesday, getting into the advice business, right? Get out of the price business. When you do this, you're able to have a deeper emotional conversation with the buyer, which deepens trust, accelerates relationship, and yes, remember, we're going for yes. The more you advise, the less important rate, fees, and costs matters. This dialogue is the most critical dialogue you can master. This sets the stage for massive conversion, which can increase your monthly income by 10 to 30,000 or even more every month for the rest of your life. So what we give you is the mantra. The mantra first is be in demand, not on demand. Be in demand, not on demand. If you're in demand, your advice. If you're on demand, your price. It's that simple. Rate rule number one, never discuss rate or fees without creating and establishing value. Otherwise, you're like everybody else. Okay, never ever talk about it. Never talk about it. And in order to do that professionally, you have to understand rate rule number two. Master the price to advice transition. Here's the script, 6 words. But before we talk about that. But before we talk about that. So let's roll that into a script. Borrower says, what are your rates on a 30-year fixed rate loan? Loan officer says, there are dozens of ways to structure a loan. Before we talk about that, are you aware that the lowest rate with the wrong strategy can cost you more than a slightly higher rate or even different program with the right strategy? My job is to get them thinking that this cannot even rationally be a question in which I can answer it, right? And so we want to get them kind of hooked with the pattern interrupt. And this is one of the strongest pattern interrupts that has been created over the last decade. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to have them understand any loan officer can quote you a rate. In fact, you could add to this script, there's dozens of ways to structure a loan. At this point, many loan officers would answer your question. But before we talk about that, are you aware that, right? Or maybe they say, tell me about your rates. Well, I can say, based on what I've heard so far, sounds like most lenders with whom you are speaking are providing you some confusing information. Talk about a hook. My team and I are different than most lenders. Boom, story selling. We meet face-to-face with all of our borrowers, embedded command. Hey, this likely for you is a big decision. Our goal is to learn your long and short-term financial goals, show you how homeownership affects those goals, and then recommend several financing options and strategy to help you achieve what's important to you. Boom. Never, ever, ever for the rest of your life should you answer the rate question. You should never answer it. You should always transition into creating value so that you don't have to answer it. So we look at that and we go, okay, so where does that kind of lead us? Well, it leads us to more of this kind of buyer mindset. Sorry. Like here's some questions. You want to execute a point of sale referral strategy. Okay, so when you're done with the pre-purchase consultation, the 3 top questions to ask to accelerate referrals is, how do you feel now that we've met? Feeling. What do you think about our time together? No, not the word think. How do you feel now that we've met? Have we answered all your questions? Are you more confident now than, little typo, sorry about that, than prior to us meeting? Question 3, it's a hard question. It's a hard question because if you're more confident, you're less stressed. And if you're more confident and less stressed, then as a guide, I'm creating a bond with you. Now, these 3 questions, once you answer them, can lead you into other points of dialogue. Okay, I can use this as a point of sale referral script. Okay, so when they say yes to all those questions, I can simply say, my team and I spend 90% of our week making sure everything goes smoothly for families like you while financing their real estate. The only way we can afford to do that is if you introduce us to friends and family consumer referral program friends and family that you may know who might also need financing in the next months or even years. If you've learned a lot today and had a great experience, we'd be grateful if you'd connect us with whomever you know that would also benefit from learning what we went over today and getting a custom analysis for their own situation. Okay, so that's the setup, right? And again, remember that 96% of loan officers do not have a point of sale referral strategy. We're going to send you a Facebook friend request to make sure to stay in touch. We post pertinent information about real estate markets, community updates, and other valuable information for you to see as we proceed. If you could do us a huge favor, here's the ask, and post something about our meeting today and tag us. This would allow your friends to contact us directly should they want to learn more about home financing. Also, before you leave the parking lot or before you leave your desk, please call your agent immediately. Let them know how good you feel about our meeting. Okay, so I'm planting the hook right now that we're going to be asking for referrals a lot. And we're going to do it intentionally. We're not going to do it because it's a hack. You know, if you ask for referrals and it's a hack, you don't have the right to ask for referrals. You got to understand that this is an outcropping of real value. And so when you do that, then it sets up anytime during the transaction now, I can talk to you about referrals. Here's what needs to happen from now to the day you move in for you to feel 100% comfortable referring us to your family, friends, and colleagues. I want to talk about setting the hook. If you don't like the length of this one, fine, ditch it, go here. Okay, this one is more comprehensive. This one is simple and you can start it this afternoon with your next borrower. Here's another question that 98% of loan officers never ask. What are your real estate dreams and goals over the next 3 to 5 years, the next 5 to 10 years, 10 years plus? Awesome. We will help you every time you need financing solutions. That's an embedded command. Now watch this. You want to talk about the double whammy. Guess what percentage of realtors don't do an annual real estate review with their buyers and sellers? Same percentage. So now if I do this and my agents don't, and this brings back listings, this brings back buyers, this brings back, you can see how valuable that is. When we look at the idea of this script right here, this final one, we look at the idea of generating referrals at the actual application appointment. So these 4 are all about point of sale scripts, okay? So I think with all the subs and everything, those are the 25, they end with 14. And now we can go into some Q&A. Dave, I do have a potential doctor call at straight up on the hour. So if I have to punch out early, I'd have to punch out. But go into chat and just give me a thumbs up if you could use some of these scripts. Right now, thumbs up if you could use some of these scripts.
Well, stop sharing your screen real quick because let's go fireside chat.
Fireside chat, love it.
Okay, and as long, no more than 15 minutes, but if you got to jump. Before you do, just in case Todd does have to jump, guys, I just can't emphasize enough the way you get value from what you just went through is that you take action. Like make sure you go and check out the links that we shared to Todd's event. Like, guys, this is free. He gave this loan officer wealth calculator and special push for every manager. Like, we got to lead by example. It's every lead, every loan, every basis point matters more than ever. And we're giving you the goods. Make sure that you have watched this little 5-minute Todd Duncan video. Also, every single day I am updating Savage Insights with, at the top of it, this will be changed within minutes. It will not be sign up to hear today's call with Todd Duncan. It will be a link to the recording. If you haven't already signed up for Scriptapalooza, make sure you sign up for Scriptapalooza. I always have, and I just change these out. Like, literally, I update Savage Insights, almost every day with like, what are the most important call to actions, newest content. Also, if you are not already on my Savage Insights mobile club, it's 949-799-0837. I will be reminding everybody by the end of the day that's in that club, go sign up for Todd Duncan's, program, walking you through to get it because it's so important. So now with that said, let's get into Q&A here, Todd. By the way, one person, I can't remember the name, I'm looking for it right now, had asked about putting rental income in a total cost analysis to do a move up analysis. What we're seeing loan officers do is column A, like, by the way, this is for the script, the pre-listing cross-sell package. Every single one of these cross-sell packages should have 2 TCAs. One should be moving up. What's it look like? Column A is the current home. Column B is the new price, whatever today's rate is. And whatever the positive cash flow is, put that in asset accumulation. If they're selling it, you don't do that. And then column 3 is copy and paste that and put in the future rate, 4.5%. If you can really help agents get listings by vision casting for the consumers, it's going to be game changing for you. So that was the answer to that question. Deb, what other questions do you see in here or that we want to ask Todd before he has to jump?
Well, my question for those who are listening, and really it's a commitment. How many of you all are going to commit and make the decision today to at minimum embark the 21-day challenge that Todd talked about on Tuesday? Now you're given the quote bullets or the scripts to be able to go do that effectively. And if you go back and watch part 1, guys, it is mind blowing to see just small little tweaks of that conversion. You see it live with Todd on the calculator. Those small little tweaks, and we're talking about just one area of the business. If you just did this for 21 days, what it has the potential to do for your income. And so this year is actually 10 years from when I first met Todd, and I have 10x'd my income and have used this in every area of my life. And so I just want to thank you, Todd, for that, but also get the rest of you who are listening, put it in the chat. Are you going to take the commitment or the challenge for the next 21 days? Like, how serious are you at being the best at what you do? And if you had your kids standing behind you all day at work while you're at work, what are you working on? What are the things that you should be spending more of your time on? Would they be proud of you with what you say that you're doing all day? Just doing the 21-day challenge or practicing these scripts today will make you better and will increase your income. That's proven since what, 1992. So do it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I would say to all of you that this was obviously fire hose kind of stuff, right? I mean, just boom, 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 boom. At the Academy, we spend 4.5 days on script mastery. I mean, period, that's what we do most of the time. And we learn how to build a bulletproof business. But what I just put in chat, I'd like to just have everybody just do this. It'll be an affirmation for our time together. How many of these scripts resonated with you where you could say between 2 or 5 or just give me a number right now. If you guys could punch into chat, just let me know how many scripts did you get impacted by, and or can you improve with a why? Yes, a why. How you use language to impact people. Just go ahead and throw that in, and then I want to say something to the branch managers. The wealth calculator has a massive engine behind it. We can take the income for your loan officers all the way up to 200 million, 300 million, 400 million. You can use the same business plan. And like if you're a branch manager, instead of one loan officer who wants to make 200,000, you have 10 loan officers that want to make 200,000. And so you enter that gross commission number in there, put the rest of your metrics in. It tells you how much volume the branch has to do. And it also calculates for you, based on this conversion enhancement that we've been having this dialogue on, how much more of an economic economy do you provide for your loan officers, which is always going to be the value add, right? Loan officers every day are asking, do I love working for my branch manager? And if you're not adding economic value to them through scripting and role playing and help them getting good at words, they may be thinking that somebody else could do that. And we all know the grass is only greener where you water it. So again, Scriptapalooza is coming up. I love that. I look forward to that. Many of our students are on there. But most importantly is if you don't know what to say in a selling situation, you're going to fumble it. You're going to talk too much. You're going to lose the sale. Be so good at wordology. Be so good at wordology, which is one of our new papers that's coming out. It's just like master the words and you master the sale. And just one final reminder, this is not a hack. This is not a hack. Okay, so somebody said as many as possible. Somebody said 10 to 20, 10 for sure, 10 for sure. Eddie, thank you for that. Yeah, great, guys. Okay, well, you have all of these in writing. And then if you hang out with us on toddduncan.com and just look at all of our free stuff, we have a massive rate shoppers video right now with a bunch of scripts that hit a couple weeks ago. If you haven't watched that yet, watch that, because nobody should ever shop a high trust, high tech mortgage coach, mortgage professional.
All right, we got a few more minutes,
shopped.
Todd, because we have some questions that have come in. One just came in.
Yeah.
Could you briefly describe the 21-day challenge again?
The 20-day challenge again was let me see about Deborah's recall. Is Deborah still here?
She's not still here.
Okay.
And
so the 21-day challenge was to, in the next 21 days, set one business development appointment a day with an agent you know, but you haven't gone deep with. And we put those scripts at the front end of today's call, and or set one appointment a day with a new particular agent that you've been referred to. So somewhere between 42 people, you need to have 21 meetings. And if you take the 21 meetings, you go back through this deck, you ask the questions I put at the front end, and you implement the 12-week follow-up. Here's my promise to you. In 12 weeks, your referral volume could double or triple. And if you get good at the buyer dialogue, then your conversion percentage is going up, which is what the wealth calculator provides as an option for you to see. If every day we're like this, let's say we move you from a 20% conversion to a 30% conversion. If every day we're like this, here's how much more you would make. And the promise, Dave, when we started on Tuesday, was $10,000 to $30,000 a month or more, depending on the market you're in. 10,000 could be 2 more loans. And some markets it could be 1.5. In some markets it may be 3 or 4. But you can get the business. I promise you, the business is out there right now. It's only going to go to the people that are really great.
thank you for that. So another question. I'm thinking for the pre-listing package for agents, the 2 TCAs are one TCA that should go in that package that really helps that person put their home on the market, and one, it looks like Todd needs to jump.
I got to jump. Sorry, guys.
Take
I'll
care.
be in touch. So thank you very much.
I'll close it out, guys. So just to be clear, everyone, and I know Todd would validate this, one TCA that helps the agent get the listing, showing the long-term net worth increase in listing their home and buying another home, or renting out their home and buying another home, whatever is the fit, but we need to help agents do that. And then also when Todd talked about referral extraction, guys, like we need to optimize. It's all about optimizing every relationship we have. So I want everyone to, one, master that script. I think it was script number 8. I think he had like 4 versions of that script, but I also want you to go through, I don't know, let's just say your top 20, either current partnerships or potential relationships. And I want you to score it as to how you're optimizing your referral extraction. Like if you're like 10, I'm killing it. I'm getting all the loans. They're being as strategic as they can be. Okay, that's not going to make a top 10, top 20 focus, but I want everyone to critically think, where am I getting 1 out of 3 potential referrals where I can really do that? And then, go after that. So guys, we went a few minutes over. I hope you got a lot of value. If you did, give this a like, share this with your mortgage friends, a push to all the managers out there to use this content to do your next sales meeting, and hope everyone got value. I can see all the, the nice emotions. So this call's a wrap. And remember, sign up for Scriptapalooza. It's going to be a big deal last day of the month. Take care, everybody, and have a great weekend.